New information on the outbreak, and it comes from the source, China, just reporting that for the 10th day straight, there have been no new deaths and only 12 new positive cases, 11 of those tied overseas. But in the last few hours, global cases of coronavirus, we are closing in on 2.8 million with nearly 200,000 deaths. The U.S. still has the most positive cases, and in just over an hour, some open signs will again turn on for businesses in Franklin County. County leaders allowing this to happen, citing a low concentration of coronavirus cases. Steve.
News 4's Kim St. Ange begins our team coverage tonight. Kim, Franklin County is the first county in this area to reopen. What businesses in the city of St. Louis and the county will not be cleared to open just yet, though?
Well, Steve, one of the sticking points for opening businesses like gyms in St. Louis County is a lack of COVID-19 testing. That's according to the county executive, Sam Page. He and St. Louis City Mayor Lyda Crewson both sticking with their original plans to go ahead and reevaluate the situation mid-May and then potentially make a decision on what they'll do moving forward. Meanwhile, in just over a couple hours here, so a number of businesses in Franklin County will be allowed to reopen, but here's the catch. They can only have a total of 10 people inside at one time.
The popcorn machine is just about the only thing still running at Great 8 Cinema in Union. The owners and their families selling it to keep customers coming back. Lights have been off in the theaters since March 19th.
It's a very stressful situation. You don't know. It's the unknown.
Now, even with the chance to reopen, owner Paul Aaron says because of overhead costs, it doesn't make sense.
Well, you've got to turn all your air conditioning on just for 8 people because you got to include the workers in that 10. So you only allowed 8 people.
There are 6 other types of businesses that are allowed to reopen at midnight in Franklin County. Hair and nail salons like this one behind me did not make the list. Here's what is included: bowling alleys, concert halls, skating rinks, fitness centers, golf courses, and gyms.
It's stressful, but we'll do the best we can.
Planet Gymnastics is reopening Monday. With 300 kids in the program, they're making major changes, well beyond how many people are allowed in at one time.
All the girls are kept 6 feet apart. No one can share any equipment or any space within the training environment. Everybody has to wash their hands with soap.
They're also disinfecting equipment after each gymnast and cleaning the gym between groups. Until businesses can fully reopen, they're doing whatever they can to stay afloat.
Yeah, we have a small bag, a large bag, and we call it a binge watching bag.
Almost as big as 8-year-old Kemper. You can imagine it's popular right now.
Well, it's a lot of popcorn.
Even though some of those Franklin County businesses can open at midnight, keep in mind all those residents are still under Missouri stay-at-home order, which is in effect until May 3rd. Anyone who goes to those businesses allowed to open will be required to practice social distancing. Live in Richmond Heights, Kim St. Ange, News 4.
Kim, thank you. New tonight, a growing number of Americans believe a state of normal in America is months and months away. New data from research firm Magid finds only 10% view things as returning to normal in the next month. 31% of people see it as 2 to 4 months away, and a large number see it as taking even longer. Researchers say these results have held steady for weeks, but there's been a slight pull towards 6 months recently. Tonight, Illinois is dealing with its single biggest increase in coronavirus cases, more than 2,700 added tonight, and the caseload now approaches 40,000, with nearly 1,800 losing their lives. And despite those increases tonight, some people in our area are fighting back against Governor J.B. Pritzker's stay-at-home extension. Some areas still have very few cases. News 4 investigator Chris Nagus is delving into the great divide over flattening the curve. Chris.
Well, that is right, Samantha. Political leaders in both Missouri and Illinois have recently extended stay-at-home orders in St. Louis County. We know that's through at least May 15th. It'll be reevaluated then. In the state of Illinois, May 30th, and that is one state representative taking the governor to court. In Grafton, Illinois, tourism is important. In Jersey County, there are only around a dozen confirmed coronavirus cases, but the impact of the virus and the stay-at-home order is clear.
It's hard on these businesses.
Oliver Reedy owns Ojan's restaurant. Carryout is still allowed, but Reedy says even if the governor allowed him to reopen his business completely, he wouldn't do it.
If you want to stay alive, I think it's the wise thing to do until this thing is taken care of.
Parts of rural Illinois have not been hit as hard as the urban areas. State Representative Darren Bailey takes issue with Governor Pritzker's extended stay-at-home order. Do you feel like the state should remain shut down?
Well, on a personal basis, I think it should be regionalized.
Bailey is suing the governor. He believes the governor had every right to issue the initial 30-day stay-at-home order, but believes the May 30th extension is a violation of Pritzker's power. Are you concerned about any health ramifications if rural Illinois opens too quickly?
Well, again, I'm not advocating, any kind of a full open. I'm just advocating that we use common sense. We are in our office. We are receiving tons of calls, many destitute families. It's happening. They've been 4.5 weeks now without a paycheck.
We are in an emergency. So frankly, I think that a lawsuit about whether or not this is an emergency is a political maneuver.
Back in Grafton, where the impact is clear, there are strong opinions.
I think businesses should be open now. I think it's all political right now. I think it's overhyped. Do I think that coronavirus is real? Absolutely. But do I think it's overhyped? Yes.
Others worry what would happen if towns like this reopen too quickly.
I can't imagine what a job it would be to try and get these groups of people that are just happy to be outside and wanting to, visit the different restaurants and things to do here and keep them distanced. I think that would be a really difficult task.
And one of the reasons political leaders in both states say they're extending these stay-at-home orders, they don't want local hospital systems to get overwhelmed. Now, Reedy says he understands those health concerns, but he also believes that the legislature should have some oversight over the governor's power. That lawsuit will now head to court, and of course, it's one we will continue to monitor. Reporting live, Chris Nagus, News 4.
Tonight, companies and government agencies are trying to stave off a potential wave of public health emergency sparked by the president's suggestion that ingesting disinfectants might cure the coronavirus. CNN and Axios are reporting the president may scale back press briefings amid scrutiny from scientists and medical professionals.
I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection?
That was last night. This was today.
I was asking a very sarcastic question to the reporters in the room about disinfectant on the inside. That was done in the form of a sarcastic question to the reporters.
At the time of his comments, the president was looking directly at coronavirus task force doctor Deborah Birx.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
The president's comments pushed the medical community and the manufacturers of disinfectants to issue warnings. Lysol tonight pinning this tweet to their feed for everyone to see. It reads, "Reminder, Lysol disinfectant and hygiene products should only be used as directed and in line with usage guidelines."
I think it's a great thing to look at.
And the president's Food and Drug Administration commissioner weighed in.
No, I certainly wouldn't recommend the internal ingestion of a disinfectant.
Maryland's Emergency Management Agency tweeted caution, noting, "We have received several calls regarding questions about disinfectant use and COVID-19.
If people are listening to even a sarcastic remark like that could potentially be actionable, again, it could lead to people being harmed or killed.
The president did not take questions from the press at this afternoon's briefing. Also of note, the president earlier had suggested the malaria and lupus drug hydroxychloroquine, could be used as a possible treatment. Tonight, the FDA is officially warning you to not take the drug to treat the coronavirus.
All new tonight from St. Charles County, an unfortunate update for kids in the area looking forward to their summer in St. Peter's. The city confirms to News 4 all municipal pools will be closed through the summer. The Board of Aldermen deciding this and saying it all comes down to public safety. From the Army to battling COVID-19, all new tonight, a veteran sharing his story of survival, and he's sharing it only with News 4's Emma Hogue.
Bill Hoffman survived being on the front lines of the Vietnam War, but just days ago didn't know if he would beat COVID-19. Right now he's home recovering after spending 3 weeks at Mercy Hospital. Tonight he's thanking his plasma donor he now calls his hero.
It was nice to be able to get up this morning and be with my wife and my puppy my German Shepherd.
A moment Bill Hoffman used to take for granted. Just days ago, the Army veteran didn't know how or if he'd survive.
I was thinking, I can't do this no more. It's bad. I mean, it's mentally and physically and emotionally.
Hoffman says it started with extreme fatigue on April 2nd. A positive COVID-19 diagnosis sent him to Mercy Hospital for 3 weeks. The father and grandfather spent 2 weeks on a ventilator, clinging to life.
I've suffered from staph infection, blood clots, and pneumonia.
Throughout his hospital stay, Hoffman kept his focus on family, especially his wife, Lynn, who he was isolated from for 21 days.
It's really, it gets dark sometimes, but you got to fight.
His fight made easier when a COVID survivor agreed to donate his plasma. Mercy Hospital couldn't confirm who the donor was, but Hoffman says he owes his life to this man, Walter Lampkin, the first recovered patient to donate plasma at Mercy Hospital.
It's beyond words. He's actually one of my heroes. I mean, he didn't have to do that.
May I have your attention, please? Code sunshine. Code sunshine.
Thursday came the brightest spot in Hoffman's dark journey. Hospital staff lined the hall, singing and cheering as he was released on his 68th birthday. Happy birthday
to you. I'm figuring a couple people, But when I went down that lobby and see over 200 people there.
Hoffman says he's grateful to see another year, commending the doctors, nurses, and donor who made it possible.
Walter, you're one of my heroes.
Tonight, Hoffman is still working to regain some of his strength, but says he plans to pay it forward and donate plasma himself once it's safe to do so. Reporting from Mercy Hospital tonight, Emma Hogue, News 4.
A St. Louis police officer is home tonight after battling COVID-19, and the show of support today was nothing short of incredible. Hospital staff at St. Luke's in Chesterfield saw Officer Dave Trenorio off. His fellow officers followed him from the hospital to his home in South City. Trenorio spent 24 days in the hospital.
I'm forever grateful to them to be able to get me to a position where I can help them, and I'm forever grateful to them. Thank you all very much.
Trenorio was treated with a rarely used technique after a ventilator didn't work. He was put on a machine like this called an ECMO that's been used in Italy and New York.